Surrey resident Vijay Chakrabarti remembers visiting the Air India Memorial near Cork, Ireland, almost 2 decades ago.
I was absolutely spellbound.
Chakrabarti says the memorial made him think of those who lost their loved ones in the plane crash.
That touched me at that point, seeing the warmth of the local people, the way they had kept that whole thing in their memory.
On June 23, 1985, a bomb in a suitcase aboard Air India Flight 182 exploded as the plane approached Ireland. All 329 people on board were killed, many of them Canadians. Chakrabarti is part of a group that has written a letter to BC's Premier calling for a larger memorial and learning centre to be built in the province to teach younger generations about the tragedy.
My kids, they are being schooled here in Canada, in BC, and they have not heard about this. They need to know about, these things as a part of, their character building.
The campaign is being supported by many organizations, including local Hindu and Sikh faith groups.
We feel that our next generation should have an information center where they can learn about the tragedy that took place in 1985.
Yogesh Bhatia is a volunteer with Vedic Civics Charitable Society. He would like to see a space created that gives voice to the BC victims and their families.
At least, those people, who were killed, their family still deserve something. So that's why we are asking a memorable place and an education center so that our future generations know that violence of any type can create massive ripple effect in the society.
In a written statement, the province says it will work with community and organizations to better understand how they can continue to work to educate future generations. Major Sidhu, who lost his sister and her 2 children in the terrorist attack, says the bombing is often perceived as a tragedy affecting the Indian community, while the majority of people on board the flight were Canadians. He says to this day it's known as Air India tragedy, but it's part of the Canadian history. This tragedy should be taught about in schools and colleges. 40 years later, families still feel anguish. He believes building a new learning center will create more empathy and understanding for Canadians. Sohrab Sandhu, CBC News, Vancouver.